Yes, welcome back. Debrief time, Say Less Footy podcast. Yes, it's not Monday, as I said last week. It is Wednesday, but it's time for the debrief, a wrap up of all last week's NRL action. We're going to go through the games. If you haven't already, head over to Instagram and TikTok. Give us a follow, Say Less Footy podcast. Let's do a quick wrap up of the games, starting all the way back on Thursday night. Roosters versus Eagles. Roosters with the victory. Look, um, it's rocks or diamonds with the Sea Eagles. They're either fantastic or they're very average. Just some poor defense down there. Right side defense. Tupou getting a double. Billy Smith getting a try. Um, and then yeah, basically even on their other side, I mean Manu and Sawali also scored. So Roosters outside backs looking good. Roosters are still mathematically able to make the eight. Whether they do or not, I'd say they'll come out next week and put on an absolute terrible performance. But I mean, you sort of look at it all year and you're thinking, where's like when the Roosters play like this, like where's it been all year? So I mean, good win for the Roosters. Probably a little bit too little, too late. As I said, they can still make the eight, but yeah. I mean, Manly can still make the eight. They're actually still. What are we looking at with the ladder here? I mean, the Seagulls are 1 point ahead of Roosters, so say they can still make the eight with 4 rounds to go. Wait, 24, 25, 26, 27. 4 rounds to go. It's still a possibility for Manly as well, but looking at what they put out last week, it's going to be a tough one for them. Um, Look, even Roosters had Nathan Brown sent off for it was a bit of a bad hit, but probably would have been suffice the 10 minutes in. But Roosters still winning with 12 men with the last 18 minutes. So a couple of late tries from the Seagulls made it look a little bit better. Moving on to Friday night. Fantastic early game. Titans versus the Warriors, 28-18. The Warriors got up again. The Warriors keep marching on. Up the Waz. Everyone's on the Warriors bandwagon because you know what? Most of us don't want to see a Panthers or a Storm win the Premiership or probably even a Broncos. So, you know, especially us Tigers fans, we're on the Warriors bandwagon. They're looking good. The Titans actually put up a decent fight, and they've been playing well without Tino. Fafita's been good. Brimson was rubbed out before in the warm up. Jaden Campbell's been huge, but Johnson, the usual suspects, DWZ, Tohu Harris. Now, I did have my tip of the week on this, but I had AJ Brimson. He pulled out. I mean, if you could sort of swap in Jaden Campbell for AJ Brimson in that bet, then your bet probably would have got up. Well, it definitely would have got up. But yeah, just Warriors, just still just trotting along quietly. Webster's done such a good job. Sean Johnson looks awesome. Jackson Ford, Toho Harris, Adam Blake, and my man Wade Egan is absolutely fantastic. I was watching a bit of a Bloke in a Bar podcast this week, and you know, Gannon was talking about just what Wade Egan has brought to the Warriors this season, and it's good to see that he's finally starting to get some recognition out there. Wade Egan has been absolutely huge for the Warriors this year, and I think the position of hooker, you sort of look across the whole competition, and some of the best players in our competition are hookers, and I think the way the rule changes have happened have really sort of made the hooker much more important. Sort of position. So yeah, Wade Egan absolutely huge for the Warriors. Look, let's keep moving on for the rest of the games. Another good win for the Warriors. On the late game on Friday, Panthers just absolutely blew the Storm off the park. A couple of late withdrawals for the Storm with Hughes and Xavier Coates, but look, it should have been closer than that. Like, you had Big Nelson come back, like Munster's there, Harry Grant's there, just Panthers at home, just absolutely just clinical. Couple more games with Cleary and Luai back together. starting to, just get those little bits of rusty bits out of their game, just starting to link up a lot better. Yeah, forwards just doing what they do, just hit up, hit up, hit up, making space for the outside backs. All the usual suspects scoring. To'o, Luai, Crichton. Yeah, just a dominant performance. It's just someone's got to beat the Panthers, and it doesn't look like it's going to be the Storm this season. Doesn't look like it's going to be the Roosters. The Rabbits are here or there, and are the Broncos the only one? Like, let's move on to Saturday. The Broncos up against the Cowboys. The Broncos come with a good victory. The Cowboys put up a fight. They really did. I mean, there was only about 4 to 6 points in it after Cole Felt's try in the 58th minute. Couple of late tries, of Reece Walsh, Selwyn Cobbo. Yeah, Broncos look good, and I think it was a really good game. I don't know why it was played. Like, why was it the Sunday afternoon game? Like, it should have been like your Friday night footy, your Saturday night footy. I don't know, like Sunday afternoon, but big crowd, 22,000. It was a fantastic match. Probably the game of the round, I think. Um, but yeah, Broncos just keep marching on. Like, just because they had trouble getting past the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys have been in a bit of form, except their loss against the Titans the week before. But if you're going to be challenging the Panthers for the premiership this season, you kind of think, well, the Broncos should be blowing people off the park. So I think this week coming, they're going to be at full strength or thereabouts. They've got the bye, and I'd say in the last round of the season, if they're secured second, I'd say they're going to rest players. I think it was either South or Panthers did it last season. Um, like I think it was Panthers resting players going into the finals, and it paid off for them. So I reckon the Broncos are going to do that if they can secure a second spot. They've got a bit of a buffer there on the ladder. It's 4 points to the Warriors, 6 points to the Storm, and Raiders. So I dare say that's if Broncos can sort of get up in their next couple of games, get the 2 points to the bye. I'd say they're going to be resting people against the Raiders in the final round. Let's move on. Saturday, another great game. Knights, Dolphins. This could have gone either way. The Knights are into the eight, 5 wins in a row. They just keep marching on. The Dolphins put up an absolutely fantastic fight. Like, this was a great game. Really, really good. Um, Jackson Hastings been absolutely huge all year. Crossland, like their spine is on fire. The spine is what's helping the Knights. And like sitting in around seventh place now. The Raiders and Sharks are just above them. The Rabbitohs, Eels are just below them. Like, how far are the Knights going to go into the finals? Like, anyone outside of the top three, really, like they're sort of the form teams of the competition. Everyone else just feels like they're lingering around there. So the Knights could go deep. They could go definitely into the second or third week of the finals this year. Um, Asked me that a month ago, I would have, said no chance, but they've really sort of gelled together and the Knights are looking really, really good. Yeah, only a 2 point win over the Dolphins, but the Dolphins are just an unpredictable team. Like, you're coached by Wayne Bennett. There's a lot of belief, there's a lot of talent there. Next year, Dolphins are going to be an even better side as well. So, I think the Dolphins are going to sort of put it to a few teams coming into the end of the season, the last few games. So teams need to be on their game when they're playing the Dolphins because they might, if they're fighting for a final spot, they might just lose 2 points. On to the late game on Saturday, and the Sharks beat the Rabbitohs. Obviously, they're higher on the ladder than them, but with Latrell back, did not think that the Sharks would win this. I kind of had written the Sharks off. The Sharks needed this. It's the first top eight opponent they've beaten in some time. Yeah, just I I don't know what they sort of did sort of midweek, but it just they obviously just got around the team. They all got around together and sort of just realized what a big game that was. I think the Rabbitohs had chances to sort of to challenge there, but I just think I don't know, like looking at the possession, it was pretty equal. Uh, the completions for the Rabbitohs was very poor, 66%. So, I mean, that's probably what cost the Rabbits in the end. But yeah, just yeah, I gave the Sharks after their last month absolutely no chance to beat the Rabbitohs. So good on the Sharks. You know, I think this is a time when Nico Hines has to stand up and be like, right, this is my team. This is how it's going to run. I feel like Nico's too nice a guy, and he needs to sort of he needs to step up and just take a bit more charge. Like other players listening to him. Is he getting overcalled? I mean, obviously not in this game. Like Braden Trindle came into the six. Matt Moylan didn't play. Yeah, and it sort of worked. So maybe having Trindle there is he's not a bigger voice as Nico Hines, and maybe it's going to work in the Sharks' favour. So let's interested to see what happens in the next round. On to the Sunday games now. Eels Dragons, another what an entertaining game! Like must win for the Eels. The Dragons, 4 tries from Ravalawa. It's like 4 tries. So the stats were every time he scores multiple tries against the Eels, they lose, and they did which to score 4 tries in a losing team. That's unbelievable. Like you can't dead set. Like Zach Lomax 2 from 4. Yeah, just the Eels sort of they were okay. They were a bit behind, but they won. They got the victory. They got the 2 points. That's what they needed to do. Probably the best game for Bryce Cartwright. The scoring a couple of tries, but also just some good defensive reads and just playing really well. I feel like Bryce Cartwright's finally happy where he is. And yeah, Eels definitely needed that 2 points. They've still got a buy in the bag for the end of the year. They are just sitting on points difference, just outside the 8. Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like the Eels are going to scrape in. I don't know who's going to drop out just yet, but I feel like the Eels they will make the finals. It's just the Eels sort of their their personality is very Clint Gutherson. It's just like a scrappy try. Will just do anything to get the victory. And I just feel like the Eels are going to make the finals. On to the last game of the round. Raiders Tigers. Look, the Tigers. Oh, right down to the wire. Like they could have won. The Raiders got up 22-18. Well, at least it could have gone to a golden point. Like Brooksy kicks it at the end. If Novaluma doesn't sort of wait for it to bounce, if he actually dives at it and catches it, he lands over to the try line and he scores the try. Like he just needed to back himself there. Uh yeah, so controversial decisions, either way. But two Raiders tries, dead set, forward pass. Like don't know how the touch he missed, especially the second one. But look, I'm not like the usual Tigers fan. I'm gonna cry and be like, get rid of the coach. Like we're building something. Like just having the just looking at the players that we have now, the young players that we've got sort of locked up. You know, coming through Buller, Tupo, um, Cole, Sean Blaw, like oh, big Stefano. Like there's really, really good signs with some talent comes through for the Tigers. So, we're playing against a team in what, fourth, fifth, and we almost got them. So Raiders, geez, they're going to need to be a lot better. Otherwise, they're going to go out in straight sets. Like they've done, during the middle part of the season, they've done really, really well to get them to where they are. But like if you're struggling to beat the Tigers, I mean, maybe I'm just not flattering the Tigers. Maybe we played really well, but if you're struggling to beat the Tigers at this point, like you're sort of going to have to look at yourself. I think sort of mid-season when all the stuff was going around with like Jack White and leaving and sort of, it's probably going to be Jared Croker's last season. Who knows? But I think the team really galvanized, and I think they just need to sort of just go back and just sort of get back to where they were around that sort of time and just sort of galvanize the team around and then sort of that then they can crack on because they should make the finals. Like I can't see them missing. Like they're on 30 points already. Like they only need to pick up 2 more points realistically to make the 8. So Yeah. Anyway, that is the end of the Say Less debrief. Thanks for making it to the end. As I said at the start, follow us on TikTok, Instagram. Be back a little bit later with the tips for the next round. Thanks for tuning in. Say less. Peace out.